Hi, it's Bill with Immaculate Paint Protection. Today we're going to show you how to safely and effectively wash your Tesla so you don't damage the paint. So we're talking about how to wash the wheels and then the tires on the Tesla. First thing we're going to use Gyeon wheel cleaner. It has an iron removing product in it, which is going to remove the iron that comes off of the brake rotors when the brakes are applied. I realize the brakes are not as applied as often on a Tesla with the regenerative braking, but you're still going to have the brakes being used. You're still going to wind up with iron from the disc brakes. So that's why we're going to use Gyeon wheel cleaner here. So we're going to spray the wheel cleaner on. We're going to let it set up for 2 to 4 minutes. We're going to use Gyeon tire cleaner, and we're going to scrub less, but it's going to get the tires really clean. You have a Tesla like this with the nice turbine wheels. It's an expensive option. Nice matte black. That's the last thing you want to do is you don't want us to be scratching up these nice black wheels. So here's how we're going to take care of this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a nice boar's hair, super soft, super safe, nice boar's hair brush. We're going to use that on the outside of the rims. We're going to use that on this plastic lip here. And we're going to come in, we'll use a nice boar's hair lug nut brush, but we're going to use this. I understand that the lug nuts are not exposed here on this, but we're going to use this on all these little fillets in here. The trick with the boar's hair brush we're using is remember that this is the cleaning surface. The tip of the brush is the cleaning surface, not the sides. So whatever you want clean, make sure you're touch the tips to it. Get around the valve stem. That'll be nice. Then to really up your game and have the cleanest Tesla in town, what you're going to want to do is you're going to clean the barrel. So how do you do that? Well, you use that with this barrel brush. So we'll put the barrel brush inside the barrel so it's really clean. Your friends, your family will think that you take the wheels and tires off the car every time you wash it. No, this is the trick right here. And then on the front, especially on these Model Ys in the front, there's a bunch of plastic in here. So we'll use a fender well brush. So we'll come inside, we'll get the fender wells nice and clean. So somebody walking by, they see the white, they see the black, they see the blacks all nice and black and rich. That's these little tips, techniques like this, that's the difference between a so-so job versus an immaculate looking Tesla. And then finally, we're gonna go through and we're gonna use the tire brush on the tires here. We're gonna rinse it off. We'll spray the tires down one more time. We'll scrub it. We're gonna scrub the tires until we see a nice, clean, white suds on the tires. If you scrub the tires and it looks like coffee, if it looks like a cream coffee, a black coffee with some milk, is the best way to describe it. If it looks like that, we need to keep scrubbed until it's white. So sometimes 2, sometimes 3 applications of that. The Gyeon tire will make it a lot easier to get that clean with that whole scrub. So let's just jump right into it and get this going. We'll spray the wheel cleaner first. So I get all that outside of it. We'll come in, we'll spray inside the barrel. For this, we're gonna wait 2 to 4 minutes. And we're gonna come across the tire cleaner. We'll spray the tire cleaner inside the fender well here. We sprayed Gyeon wheel cleaner all over the wheel, inside the barrel. We're letting it set up for 2 to 4 minutes. We sprayed Gyeon tire cleaner on the black rubber inside the fender wells. Now we can use our tools. So we're gonna use a nice boar's hair brush here. We start dead center, go counterclockwise, around, do the lip here. Don't knock down on the paint. It's okay. It's super soft boards here. That's all right. Clean that. Get our lug nut brush out. This is the cleaning surface. That's what you want to touch. You're not going to clean it like that. That's not going to clean anything. The tip of the bristles is what cleans it. Inside these nooks and crannies here on these nice turbine wheels. It's an expensive option here, so you're going to want to use the right tools, the right techniques to keep these nice black turbine wheels looking nice and black so they don't get all scratched and marred up. We're going to come in, we're going to get inside the barrels. So in, front to back, side to side, front to back, side to side. Pull it out. Pull it out softly, it won't splash up on you. Here we go. Just tire. Let's go ahead and do the wheel inside the wheel arch here. Front to back. So here's a pro tip. This is how you get your wheels really clean. You need to know if they're clean first. So we'll take another round of tire cleaner on here. We'll get our tire brush. We're gonna scrub. See that? When it goes white like this, that means that's clean. So if it's coming up looking like a creamed coffee color, coffee with cream in it, it's still dirty. So just keep, you may have to do it 2 or 3 times. The more frequently you wash it, the easier it's gonna be. That's why we like to use a real high quality tire dressing. When it goes white like that, to me that confirms tire's clean, we can move on to the next wheel. Another pro tip we should have talked about this at the very start. Always do this in the shade. Don't do this in direct sunlight. We like the board brush because it's real nice, soft bristles. It's gonna be real safe. The wheels and the tires absolutely are going to be the dirtiest part of the whole vehicle, right? So they're going to maybe splash some dirt on, maybe some dirt on here, but that's okay. Now we can wash it down the vehicle. That's why we do the wheels and the tires first. That way we're not backtracking and doing extra work in the process. Next step is we're going to do Gyeon Bug and Grime. It's going to remove the bugs. Typically, you're going to find the bugs on the front end of the bumper, on the mirrors, maybe the A-pillar, maybe on the glass. So you're not going to see bug spots down the side or the back of the vehicle. Then we're going to spray Gyeon tar on the lower rockers. That's where the tar kicks up. The tar kicks up. They apply the tar to the road. Asphalt. Macadam's another word I think I learned that someplace else. Macadam, blacktop, asphalt. Those are the stubborn black spots you'll see on the vehicle, on the side of the vehicle. Here's the other pro tip. If you have to scrub the heck out of a panel, stop. You're gonna do more damage to the paint than you are having that spot on there. You need to stop, find out what the right product is to use. I've seen it. Yeah, you'll get the tar off, but then the paint will be all marred, all swirled, all scratched up. So the Gyeon tar will safely remove, it'll dissolve the tar. The nice thing about Gyeon tar too, look, there's all this nice black plastic. I've seen cheaper, inferior tar removers. I've seen them stain the black plastic. So just trust me from those experiences. The Gyeon tar, it's what we use in the shop exclusively. Are there other safe and effective tar remover products out there? Yeah, I'm sure there are. I just don't know what they are. I know Gyeon tar is gonna work. That's why I like using Gyeon tar. I don't have to worry about this black plastic getting stained off on somebody else's brand new expensive Tesla that they're trusting to our care. We can do this because we're inside, we're not in direct sunlight, everybody gets direct sunlight. Here's another cool pro tip. So if you really want to look like a pro and know what you're doing, you can put this other bottle, you can put that in your back pocket and walk around. If nothing else, just do that once or twice. Your neighbors are going to be totally impressed. So now we can take Gyeon tar. This section down here is a rocker panel. This part's plastic. Yeah, it may get tarred up a little bit, so you can spray it there. So we'll spray some in. It's going to just dissolve those spots. A white vehicle, it's real easy to see in a white vehicle, so there's big black spots on there. And if you have to use a couple applications of this until it goes away, that's fine. We'll let that set up there for a minute or two. Always wash your vehicle in the shade. So you may have to do it at different times of the day. We've already applied Bug and Grime to the front end to remove the bugs. We've applied Gyeon tar to the lower rocker sections to remove the tar. We want to apply a foaming soap to the vehicle as a pre-soak. So that's going to go in, that's going to bust up, break up. It's going to hopefully loosen up any of the dirt, any of the heavy mud, caked on grime. We want to get that off the vehicle. We want to rinse that off the vehicle before we start scrubbing it. Dirt, sand, right? Water, sand, liquid sandpaper. That's how these vehicles get marred up. That's why we don't recommend taking the vehicles to the car wash with the big brushes on. The brushes themselves are not bad. It's the fact that those brushes have a bunch of grit, a bunch of grime, sand. We're in Pennsylvania, the Keystone State. Granite, road, rock dust on there that gets in those brushes. Well, guess what? That's gonna come slap your car down, slapping the car down. That's what's scratching up the car. So let's foam it up first, rinse it off. That's how we're safely gonna wash the car. So we're gonna use Gyeon foam right now. If you've seen any of the other videos before, you know we have a $1,200 pressure washer here with a $100, $150 foam cannon. Yeah, you know what? It's awesome, it really is. You probably don't wanna make that investment if you're home doing this at home. I get it, I understand that. The hand action pump sprayer, it's just brute force. That's how we're gonna solve this problem here, right? So we're gonna pump this thing up, mix Gyeon foam in here. Now we're gonna spray it on. Go, see? It's still working. It's just gonna take some effort, right? We're just gonna pump this up, get the lock off, put the lock on, push the sugar down. Again, we're inside, we're out of the direct sunlight, so we don't have to worry about it. We're not chasing the sun, we're not chasing the heat. Please don't do this in the full sun. Find out what time of the day it's shady in your driveway. Do it the shady time of day. So we'll spray this down. That's how we can do it manually. This is the IK foam sprayer. Something like this is probably, I think they're $30, $40, $50, $60, somewhere around there. It's been a long time since I bought this. Don't quote me on that firm price, but Google is your friend. You can find one of these foam, look for a foamer is what you want. Say hello to my little friend. This is the foam cannon attached to the pressure washer. Now, this is what's fun. There we go, look at that, nice. So you can see we got a lot of foam coming out of here. You don't have to be, you're just painting it on. There's no right or wrong way. Just put the foam on the vehicle. Almost like you're painting it. I'm watching where I control the hose here. I don't want to be smacking this hose, dragging the hose across the vehicle. That will mar the vehicle up. Don't do that. There's the foam cannon. So you can see foam cannon's vastly more effective, vastly more fun. So now that we got it all nice and sudsy, what we do is you take a picture. Look at that picture. So that's Instagram right there. You put that up on Instagram, Facebook, wow, your friends, put that post into the Tesla group, any car forum you're on. My clients love it. We'll always send them a text picture of the car in progress. There's just something, I don't know what it is. There's something cool, fun, exciting about a lot of foam, a lot of soap on these vehicles. So just for that little wow factor for our clients, that's why we send our picture. Trust me, you put that picture up online, you're gonna be so happy you spent the money on the foam cannon. At this point, we're looking for the foam to kind of break up, split apart, run off the car a little bit. Once it starts breaking up and dissolving the dirt, that's when it's time to rinse it off. So we're gonna change out from the foam cannon, put our rinse attachment on here. Let's take a minute here and talk about some best practices. So I just switched from the foam cannon to the rinse nozzle. Have a nice rubber tip on the end here so if it hits the car, it doesn't mar it up. Changing out the gun. Okay. I like to always spray away from the vehicle. So for some reason, one of these connections is loose. This wand is gonna shoot away. It's gonna shoot away from the car. The wand will shoot away from the car. It's gonna go and it's gonna bounce off my wall. Not a problem if it hits the wall. If this bounces off and hits the car, big problem. That way, not a problem. This way, problem. So again, I don't want to damage the cars. They're not my cars. You don't want to damage your vehicle. So just every time you do that, okay. Now we're going to rinse the Tesla off. Whether you're using a pressure washer or whether you're using just a standard garden hose is fine. The goal here is to use the force of the machine. So let's use the pressure from the pressure washer to get all the dirt off. Now, we're still gonna have to touch the car and wash it, but don't worry, we're gonna get to that in a minute. So let's touch wash. I like to start at the bottom and work up, and then we can rinse it down. That way, just the soap's coming down, working that way, but we're gonna use the force of the machine to clean off any of the dirt. One thing I do when I'm rinsing the vehicle off, you can see how the water moves. If it comes off in sheets nice and clear, that means it's clean. If there's any bug spots, any residual on there, the water will get trapped there and it'll break off. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but just start paying attention to when you're rinsing the vehicle off, and you'll know if you have to go back and get some more bug, put a little more bug and grime on there. That's just something to watch for. But we'll start along the bottom here. We're in the habit here, we wash these vehicles. I need to get this surgically clean because we're gonna put paint protection film on. If you miss a spot of tar, it's not the end of the world, but you're also wondering too, why do I still have soap residue on here? That's okay. We don't need to get 100% of the soap off. If we get 90, 95% of the soap off, we're okay. We're gonna do the contact method wash, and then we'll do a final rinse. So this is not the final rinse, but we just wanna use the pressure to clean the car. The final rinse is when we're gonna rinse everything off. There's a relief in there, a little bit of a groove where all this water gets trapped in here and along here on the top. So now we're not going to see it today. This vehicle's brand new, right from the dealership, but if your vehicle's lived outside for a while, it's nice just to get down there and flush that out now. That's where any grit, grime, you'll see leaves in that, so we'll come in here. I like to do that now, and I'll keep flushing it until it flushes out clean. The standard fan nozzles are metal. This is rubberized plastic, so it won't mar up the car. So I'm a professional, I do this almost every day. Still, things will get away from you sometimes. So you saw I kind of lunged into the car a little bit, lunged in the Tesla. Well, even if I did bump this up against the paint, I'm not gonna scratch the paint. I mean, that's the cardinal sin is the cars always need to look better going out of the shop than they do coming in. That's something, so those little tips like this that no pun intended, this soft tip here, not gonna damage the paint, right? That's what we're looking at. So this isn't my vehicle, I'm not gonna go smack this tip up against the side of the paint to prove that's not gonna damage. You're just gonna have to trust me on it. That's something that we're always looking for to do that. So that's why we got the rubberized tip here. Wheels and tires are done. Foam cannon's been on. We use the pressure washer or hose to rinse all the grime off the vehicle. Now we're gonna do the iron removing process. So if you're doing this at home, you're gonna do this every 6 months, every 6 to 12 months, so once, twice a year. It's really gonna depend on where your Tesla's at, if your Tesla's outside a lot, if you're in an industrial area, if you're on a railroad depot, if you're on a railroad track. So once, twice a year. Gyeon iron is what we're using. We're gonna spray this on the vehicle. So we spray it on. I know it's still wet, but that's okay. And we're gonna let it set up for, it says 2 to 4 minutes. It can set up a little bit longer as long as you're not in the direct sun, super hot day. On a white vehicle, on a lighter color vehicle, it'll start to go purple. That is the reaction with the ferrous, or ferrous is a fancy word for iron. The iron particles that are sitting in the clear coat. The reason you want to do that, those iron particles are going to bury in and burr into your clear coat. You want to get those out, you want to release those out. If you have a ceramic coating on the vehicle, you also want to get the iron out of there. That iron's going to get down, it's going to start eating into the ceramic a little bit. So just getting the iron off the car is great. So once to twice a year, every 6 to 12 months, get the iron off. If we don't see any purple happening, great, that means there's not a lot of iron on the vehicle, so we'll just rinse it off and then we'll go to the contact method wash. If there's a bunch of purple, it's going purple, we'll rinse it off. We'll apply a little more. If we see it going purple some more, we'll do a second treatment. So sometimes we've had to do 2 or 3 treatments on a vehicle based upon how much iron's on it. Sometimes we get away with just 1 treatment. The product in the vehicle is going to tell you how much that you need to use. So it's not more product on at the same time, it's more application. So a thinner coat, rinse it off. I would rather do a thinner coat 2 times than a super heavy coat 1 time. You want to be careful of the black anodized trim on these Teslas, what products you use, so that's why I stick away from the cheaper products. the cheaper products, you get what you pay for, and sometimes they don't work, and when they don't work, it's bad. If you're doing this at home, you want to do this, again, once, twice a year. The reason we do this in our shop is we're gonna polish the vehicle off, either put paint protection film or a ceramic coating on. We want to get all the iron off before we cover it up with either ceramic coating or paint protection film. On these SUVs, the back end, you'll see a lot more iron because that's where it gets water or wet, everything kicks up off the road and kicks up, swirls up, and lands on the back of the vehicle. So if you see a bunch of iron in the back of the vehicle, don't be alarmed. That's just, you're doing what you should be doing by getting it off. So, I mean, the best thing is when you do something like this, you don't want to see anything happen. That means the vehicle is in good condition, you're washing it frequently enough, everything's great. So it's a good indication that your car wash techniques, your maintenance schedule, your maintenance frequency is proper. Okay, so we're gonna let that set up for 2 to 4 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere along there. I'm gonna get the squeegee out, start mopping the floor down. I'll take you to my house one day and we'll do this inside my home garage where I got started, show you that you can do this at home too, at home. But again, follow along, do these same steps at home. Just do this in the shade. That's all you gotta do. Just get this in the shade, do it in the shade, you're gonna be fine. So at this point, we're gonna rinse off the Gyeon iron. Connection's good there. I'm gonna rinse it off. I'm gonna pay close attention to these seams. Flush all the Gyeon iron in there. You'll start to see it'll keep running. We're gonna rinse it off really good, then we'll go in the contact method wash. The 2-bucket method wash is exactly what it sounds like. We have 2 buckets. Bucket 1, bucket 2. You can see this bucket here has a nice casters on it, rolls around real easy. That's great. Having a second one for here would be ideal. Red means stop. This is the first bucket we're gonna go into. So we're gonna stop, we're gonna get the wash mitt in here. Clean rinse water in there. This has a grit guard in here. This grit guard, if you don't take anything else away from this video series, get yourself a grit guard in 2 buckets, please. A grit guard in 2 buckets, that's the first step to having an immaculate looking car. So the grit guard, it suspends, we're gonna drop it in the bottom. It just does that. We're gonna rinse off our wash mitts into here, and the grit, it's gonna be captured in the bottom, not in the top. So we're essentially washing our wash mitts every time before we put them onto the car. Same thing, we have a grit guard in here. To get super technical, these are 6-gallon buckets. The reason they're 6-gallon buckets is because I can put about 5 gallons of water in here, and you'll see it gives me a little headspace, and I'm not splashing water all over the ground. It's not really the ground I'm worried about, it's splashing the water all over my feet. You wash a bunch of cars, you get your feet wet, you're just sticking around wet feet all day, you're gonna find a solution to it. The 6 buckets is a solution to that. So we're gonna use 1 cuffed wash mitt. That's gonna be used on the door jambs and the rocker panels, and we're gonna use two body mitts. The big ones are for the body. If you drop a wash mitt, or if you drop a towel, stop, game over. Car wash is over. So if you have 2 of them, and you drop one, you set it to the side, you keep on washing. Same thing with the towel. Have more than 1 towel. If you drop that towel on the ground, no, don't put it on the paint, man. If you drop something on the ground, you put it to the paint, I guarantee you, you're gonna scratch, you're gonna swirl, you're gonna damage your paint. Keeping your wash media clean is how we safely wash these vehicles. So into the rinse bucket, so we dunk it in 1, 2, 3 times. Then I put it into the wash bucket. We're using Gyeon Bathe. I use 30 ml, according to the directions here, to about 5 gallons. So it's a really nice wash. The Gyeon Bathe wash is designed for vehicles with a ceramic coating in it. If your car doesn't have a ceramic coating, fine, use the Gyeon Bathe anyways. Why I like that, it doesn't have a bunch of the waxes, silicones, or other nonsense that they'll put in the car wash soaps that you'll find at the big box, the wholesale clubs. You'll see the big 1 gallon jug of car wash soap. You'll see the 1 gallon jug of car wash soap at the wholesale club, and you'll think that's a great deal. Well, you'll wind up using 5 times the amount of soap that you use with the Gyeon product. And these super quality professional grade soap. So that's where they kind of get you. You're thinking, hey, you get a better deal because you get more. You have to use more. And then those soaps and fillers that they put in we'll call them commercially available product, it won't leave the cars. It won't leave the cars clean because there's like that wax, the wax. I don't like it. It just doesn't look good when it's all said and done. So this is just a super clean soap. It's going to leave the car super clean when it's done. That's what we're going for. So we're into the wash bucket here. We're going to foam that up a little bit real quick. Everybody likes bubbles. You're going to see in a minute. Look how easy this rolls. These casters, all the difference in the world. But here's what we're going to do, for example. 1, 2, 3. Wring it out so it doesn't get diluted. Into the soap. Onto the car. I'm not going to use a lot of downward force on this. I don't need to scrub this, just real light pressure. I'm just barely going to let this float on here. Also, we're going to use straight line motions. We're going to go front to back of the vehicle and then up and down or side to side. The reason we're going front to back, side to side, now I can flip it side to side. When we start doing a bunch of those circle motions that, you remember if you're old enough to watch the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off, those swirl motions, if you are going to swirl the car up, you're going to see it that way. That pattern from the circles is more noticeable to the eye than just a straight line scratch or swirl. So worst case, if you do damage the paint, at least that way it'll be less noticeable. Now I have another one. You saw I did one section, so I can grab my second towel here. Front to back. Let's flip the wash mitt. Side to side, lightly touching it. I like to work top down. If you're doing your Model Y, specifically this area back here will typically get a little more dirt in it. Don't forget, let's get under here, all right? That's someplace you're gonna commonly miss. Get in there. So this is the part where we can talk about why we use the cuff mitt. The cuff mitt's a little bit smaller, and it's smaller, and then because it's cuffed, I know it's a different wash mitt. And we're gonna use this for the lower areas, all this black plastic here, the rockers, the plastic. Anything that's low on the vehicle, these low areas are gonna get really dirty. I don't wanna be grabbing dirt down here, which hopefully is not on here because we've foamed it, we've rinsed it off a couple different times, but in the case there is, we don't wanna keep going around the vehicle. We'll go along the rockers here. 1, 2, 3. I wanna release that. Get some soap. Pop the tailgate at this point. Dumping soap all over into the back here, but here's where you can go in, wipe down all these jams. Take care of it every wash. It's gonna make your Tesla just another thing. That's gonna be the difference between having a great looking car and a not so great looking car. So we open the door here, come down, right into there, get underneath, under this. On all these vehicles, there's a relief right through here. There's a notch. What this notch is for is our water can get back in between these doors here. And you always want this area cleaned out so the water that's there can run out of the door. If this gets clogged up, that water will sit in there. And that's why you see a lot of these vehicles with the rusting out on the door lowers on the bottoms. Wipe that seam down nice. If you live in an area with a bunch of road salt on it, the salt will hide in there. With some of the Teslas being aluminum, I know aluminum doesn't technically rust, but it will corrode. So just pay attention to that. Same thing here. I'm gonna wipe this up. Coming through here. You can wipe this off. I'm not gonna get down into the bay. There's a rubber seal here. It's gonna protect it from getting wet, but that's okay. I like wiping this area down here. Again, it's immaculate paint protection, so everything should be immaculate. So when the customer opens this up, this is all nice and clean. It's just that extra wow factor. Okay, you guys are paying attention, so I'll share that tip with you here. A lot of these tools you see here, you may look at all the tools and go, wow, that's expensive. Yeah, it is. I get it. But I do this professionally. When I wasn't doing this professionally, I still was trying to buy the best stuff I possibly could because
I was working 40, 50, 60 hours a week for somebody else, and I was up against two constraints, right, when you're working for somebody else. One, you can never get it done quick enough, and two, you can't have enough money to spend. So, you know, it just galled me to no end when you knew that if you spent a couple extra bucks, you could get the job done right, but you got the boss breathing down your neck telling you, no, we got to beat budget, we got to meet budget, we got to meet budget. Well, F it, man. It's my business. I'm going to buy the top of the line products, the best of the best. I'll share that with you. Hopefully, you know, you're just watching this, you see the same passion that we're putting into every wash here. Washing your car should not be a chore. That's why people are buying the ceramic coatings now. They're buying the ceramic coatings to make the car easy to wash. So you've got the ceramic coating, it's easier to wash. Use great high quality products, use high quality soaps, use high quality tools. That's gonna make the job fun, that's gonna make the job easy. That's how you're gonna get the professional results. When you get the professional results, you're gonna have that instant gratification, that instant satisfaction of knowing you have the best looking vehicle on the street, period. Anything that can get me to produce high quality work coming out of my shop, we're gonna go do it. We're looking for the best of the best product and process and people all the time. That's what makes our company successful. That's why I'm sharing these tips and techniques and the product that we're using here and the process. And fine, if you're using these videos to shop around, great. Then hopefully we're imparting some information on you that you can use as you shop and become an educated consumer. Use this information. Know it yourself, I think is the phrase Goss. Pat Goss, Goss's Garage, Auto Week, way back in the day, developed the phrase, know it yourself, which means learn what we're doing, learn how it needs to be done, and then use that information when you're shopping around to ask the questions of your paint protection ceramic coating installer or your detailer. If you're gonna let somebody come to your house and wash your car, watch what we're doing and make a checklist of what we're doing, the steps we're doing. Ask your detailer to explain their process to you and see how it compares here. Maybe it's better. If it is, great, go with that guy. If it's not, don't let him touch your vehicle. That's what we're saying. But the point is, you can do all this stuff yourself. You can wash your car yourself, and if you start washing your car yourself, you're gonna find it to be fun, you're gonna find it to be relaxing. It just is. It's instant gratification. You have a dirty vehicle, you go out, you spend 45 minutes to an hour and a half on it, you get it clean, everything's great. Here's what's even better. You spend 45 minutes, you spend an hour and a half on your spouse's vehicle, you get that nice and clean, guess what? The rest of your weekend, it's gonna be awesome, I guarantee it. You go clean your spouse's vehicle, you go home, you clean your wife's vehicle, you spend an hour and a half cleaning your wife's vehicle, and she's happy, you're gonna have an awesome weekend. I guarantee it. That's my guarantee today with you. So, well, let's keep washing. Out of force of habit, I always grab this back here. I do the back because I do call it. I can come around here and get underneath. You don't see me now, but we're gonna wash, get over the Model Y there, come in, get that black plastic. Gyeon WetCoat, here's what we're gonna do. This is a sealant spray. So if you have a ceramic coating on, you spray this on after it's all washed off. It's gonna be a sacrificial layer. It's gonna increase the hydrophobic properties. All that means is it's gonna make the water bead up, okay? Hydrophobic is a fancy scientific word for big water beads, all right? So if you like big water beads, spray some WetCoat on. So let me give you some tips on using Gyeon WetCoat here. So first off, never do this in full sun. Trust me, you do this in full sun, it's gonna be bad. So if you want bad results, do it full sun. Good results, no in the shade. Good equals shade. The other thing to make this good, one panel at a time. You're gonna wanna spray the whole car down and rinse it off. It's not gonna work that way. Do one panel at a time so you avoid streaking. If you do the whole car and you try to rinse it off, inevitably it's gonna streak up. Not the end of the world, you're just gonna have to wash the vehicle down once or twice and it'll take it off. This is gonna last 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, somewhere around there, so it's not a super duper lifetime coating or anything like that, but it's definitely something anybody can use. So here's what we're gonna do with this. I'm gonna spray the roof, I'm gonna get the wand, I'm gonna get the pressure washer, and I'm gonna rinse that off, and I'm gonna rinse all the rest of the car off, right? So that way anything that's on the roof that runs down the side is gonna be off, and then we're gonna go panel to panel to panel, spray this on, rinse it off. So just come along and watch me. I wanna move kind of quickly doing this, so we're gonna spray this on. Now we're gonna rinse it off. Okay, there we go. Let's do the windshield. Put it in your back pocket, look like a pro, rinse it off. Okay, now we're safe. This side here. We're gonna dry the Tesla down now, and here's how we're gonna do it. The Gyeon silk dryer, it's a really nice towel. It's got two sides to it. We're gonna use the side with the nap sticking up. That nap is the fibers that are coming up. We don't need to grind on the vehicle. We don't need to put a lot of force onto it. I'm gonna pretend like I'm a bullfighter here. I'm gonna be throwing the towel around. I like to throw the towel on. If I'm good, I can throw it on, get it on in one motion, have it drag across, just like that. Come to my shop, experience it firsthand. People are, when I show people that, when we do this motion, when my clients come back for their inspection / training wash that's complimentary with any paint protection film or ceramic coating service, Immaculate paint protection, they're blown away. I missed it on that one, so I'll just throw it like that and drag it. So I'm gonna go across the vehicle that way. The other motion you'll see me do is I'll take the towel corner to corner, long corner, so the longest point, maybe like they twirl the pizza dough, is I get it in my hand here on this corner and in this corner, stretch it out. I don't want it to touch the ground. So we've talked about this already, hopefully in the wash video. Let's reemphasize the point for the second, the third, or the fourth, or the fifth time. I don't care, we can keep saying it. If something drops and touches the ground, stop, set it off to the side. I got 20, 30 towels here in the shop, so I'm okay. I mean, we don't drop things that often, but if we do, it's not a big deal. We just set it off to the side. Please, if you drop something on the ground, don't take the risk of damaging the paint. That's where the swirls and that's where the scratches are gonna come from. The scratches are gonna come from something rough, something coarse, something abrasive, getting in between, getting on the paint and getting rubbed across it, right? Even with the ceramic coating on these vehicles, it doesn't make them bulletproof. So let's just take our time, let's be thoughtful about it. Buy a couple extra towels. Trust me, a couple extra towels are a lot cheaper than paying somebody to come polish the vehicle off. You don't want to do that. And then when you wash the vehicles, wash them on cold, dry them on low heat. They're microfiber. That microfiber, the fiber is essentially a plastic-based material, right? So it gets real hot, it gets crunchy, and then it gets crunchy, and it's gonna scratch the car. So just rub it down, look, it's nice and soft. So if it's not marring up my beautiful face here, it's not gonna mar up your car. I don't know if that's my opinion. It's my wife's opinion, thankfully, that's why she's still here. But so anyways, we got it line to line. That way we're not touching and dragging along the floor. Take the towel, get it corner to corner. I can take my hand, I'm just gently massaging it. I'm not even really touching it. And I'm almost just lightly touching it. So what's nice about the WetCoat, it's gonna make the hydrophobic, fancy word for big water beating properties. Here's a pro tip, get underneath these mirrors here. The water will accumulate, it'll keep dropping down. We talked about this channel between the glass and the body panel. So right now there's a ton of water down in there. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna open up the hatch. All that water's gonna run out right through here. All that water's coming right down through there. So that's gonna dry off. We'll let that water, that's the easiest way I found on these Teslas to get the water out of there. Just let gravity work for you. We'll make one more pass around the vehicle in a minute. Let's go get the black towels. And we'll take the black towels and we'll show you what we do with those. Okay, so we can dry the black plastic, these rocker panels, the door jambs, and the wheels, but we're gonna use a dedicated set of towels. In our shop, we use black for two reasons. Black looks cool. It gets smudged up. It's the same thing, women, they'll have a black makeup towel to get their makeup off, but these towels always look fresh and they're always washed, but then they don't look dingy and grimy, and it's just a nice presentation. When a client comes in, they see us using these nice fresh towels all the time. Come in here, let's dry off this paint. Keep that nice and clean. There we go. Get the windshield wipers. Get the plastic. Come around here, get all that water. We can also put a ceramic coating on this, which makes it easier to clean, easier to dry off. It just looks better. So it's final wipe time. What I'm gonna do at this point, I'm gonna shut all the doors. There's probably some water that dripped out of here. Just wipe it down now. If you come back and you find that you have a water spot or a drip mark, it's not the end of the world. Just grab yourself some detail spray. You can get it off that way. Gyeon Prep also works really nice too. This was the second towel that I used, so it's still relatively dry. Now that I closed the doors, I'm just gonna wipe down the water that came up out of that seal as the door lifted up. People think this is not washed, but it's actually, water will be caught up on underneath the fog light right here, underneath the fog light, so just dry that spot out. All right, there we go, nice clean Tesla. So there we have it, Tesla's all clean. I appreciate you taking the time to stop by the shop today. Hopefully you found this video informative, you learned something. Grateful that we could share our pro tips with you on how our process, how we wash, how we care for the Teslas. Go ahead, take these tips, use these tips at home, find the equipment, find the product. Am I selling something? Well, yeah, I guess I am, but I highly recommend the Gyeon product line. Why do I recommend the Gyeon product line? Because my experience with the Gyeon product line, because I know everything, I know the Gyeon products give us great results in the shop. I know when my clients come to me, their car's a big investment, and we take that personally. We know that it's a big investment to come in to get our services for the paint protection film and the ceramic coating. So I want to provide them with the best possible product so they can get the same pro results at their home that we get here in our shop. So that's what we're offering to you today. Again, if you found a great product that you like, that you use, awesome. If you're a weekend warrior, you love doing this, you love detailing your cars at home, love you, man. That's awesome, that's great. If you don't know what to do to wash your Tesla, well, watch the video again. Watch it a couple times. Before you go out to wash your Tesla, go ahead and watch the video. Just take the pro tips. So, but let's summarize some of the tips today that we can offer to you. So remember this: whenever you touch your Tesla paint could be scratched. So that's why it's really important to be careful when you wash the car. Really, if you run into a detail shop, you're letting detailers, car washers, you really got to vet those guys or gals, make sure they know what they're doing. Just because they're professional doesn't mean they're going to give you professional results. The car washes with the big swirly brushes, that's an absolute no-no. It's not because you have a Tesla, it's because you have a car, and because those car washes with the big swirly brushes, they scratch paint on all types of cars. So, and don't let the dealership or the service center ever wash your vehicle. The next important tip we'd like to share with you is, so get yourself 2 buckets, 2 grit guards. Then you can elevate the game. Then the next thing I do is I would really recommend high quality tools for the wheels process. If you don't have the money and all the tools, buy yourself some throwaway microfiber towels at the big box store and use those. Use 3-4 towels to wash your rims and just throw them out. Whatever you touch on the rim and tire, don't let it touch the paint. That's a rule. If something hits the ground, set it to the side. Please don't pick it up and touch the paint. That's where you're going to scratch it. I just know it's going to happen. You paid big money to have a Tesla, and you want your Tesla to look great. So spending 30, 40 bucks on some towels, really a small investment if you consider the value that you get that it's going to maintain and it's going to help that car look nice. Enjoy it, have fun. This should be a nice hobby. So you get the right tools, you get the right product, it's gonna be fun, I guarantee it. So here's another last little plug. So if you like what you've seen here today, you either bought a Tesla, you're thinking of a Tesla, you got a Tesla on order, and you're looking for paint protection film with ceramic coating, check out our shop. Give us a fair shake. If you like what you saw here in the wash video and you want to know more, and you have a brand new Tesla and you get a ceramic coating or paint protection film, all our clients, we invite them back. We do this whole process with our clients. We'll do this whole process with you if you buy ceramic coating or paint protection film. I want you to be able to wash your car the same way I wash your car, right? We both are are gonna love your vehicle. We're both gonna love your Tesla equally. I know you worked hard for your Tesla. I know you worked hard, you saved your money. I totally respect that, I get that. What I'd like to do is impart this knowledge upon you and show you how to take care of it. If you're one of my clients, I'm gonna love seeing you come back. I'm gonna spend a time with you on a Saturday morning, on a Friday morning. We're gonna wash your car together. I'm gonna give you all the tips, all the techniques. I'm gonna show you what to do. You're gonna do some of it. You're gonna walk away fully educated, understanding how to maintain your Tesla. Our clients that have come in, they've loved the experience. I think that's what sets us apart here at Immaculate Paint Protection. So again, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Thanks for taking the time to be concerned about your Tesla paint. Drop us a comment. Looking forward to hearing from you in the future. I'm Bill at Immaculate Paint Protection, and I hope you have a shiny day. Thanks so much.